Hello, let's discuss William Carlos Williams now in this lecture. He was born in 1883 and died in 1963. He was a notable contemporary of Wallace Stevens, Robert Frost, T.S. Eliot and many others, especially Pound. We will see the historical and literary context, his own life, then we will pay attention to a talk that he gave at the University of Washington. Read 3 of his poems, they are very short poems. So, we will read 3 of them, analyze them and then conclude. When we come to William Carlos Williams, let us add another point about the literary historical context. There was a show called the Armory Show which began in 1913 in New York. This is basically an art exhibition. Artists from America and artists from Europe had all assembled and displayed their art products. Many of the artists from Europe made a great impression on American creative scene and that impacted the whole of American poetry and other art forms. We have of course the First World War, the Second World War and the Great Depression. We have popular poets like E. A. Robinson and Robert Frost during this time. We have 2 groups of Imagist poets which are found in Pound, Hilda Doolittle and Marianne Moore. They are the leaders of the Imagist movement. But we have 2 groups of poets in America. One group can be called anti-romantic poets, another can be called romantic poets. These anti-romantic poets were influenced by Eliot. They are J.C. Ransom, Donald Davidson and Alan Tate. Let us recall the fugitive poets, most of them come here like Ransom and Alan Tate. Then we have the romantic poets, these were opposed to Eliot. In technique, in theme, in attitude, outlook, in language, everything they were opposed to Eliot. We have the second group in romantic poets who were opposed to Eliot. They are Hart Crane, Wallace Stevens and William Carlos Williams. Let us see the life of Williams now. He was basically a medical doctor by profession and a poet by choice. He wrote poetry throughout his life. He also practiced medicine throughout his life. Initially he was influenced by Imagism and Ezra Pound. Later on he was drawn to Objectivism and Louis Zukavsky. His credo was no ideas but in things. Further we have his opinion on poem as a little machine made out of words. His poetry is characterized by a pictorial quality, fragmented and loosely associated verse forms and local subject matter. 3 important points we have to remember about Williams. They are the pictorial quality, free verse, loosely associated verse forms and local subject matter. He dealt with the ordinary events, objects and people. He also wrote an epic poem Patterson in 5 volumes from 1946 to 1958. He happened to edit a journal called Contact with his colleague Robert McColman. His well known poems are found in the collection called Spring and Fall, published in 1923. Williams gave a talk on the poem as a field of action at the University of Washington in 1948. The major crux of this talk was a discussion on a distinct style of American poetry. How could one achieve that? He emphasized the incorporation of American subject and speech. He gave more importance to the speech pattern of the common American people. The subject matter of the poem, according to him, is fantasy. Similarly, the reality of the poem is the structure. To quote a sentence from this talk, the poet was not an owner, he was not a money man, he was still only a poet, a wisher, a word man. The best of all to my way of thinking, words are the keys that unlock the mind. We can understand why language is important, why poetry is important from this statement, words are the keys that unlock the mind. We have unraveled the secrets of nature in so many ways. but we are unable to unravel our own human mind yet. That is why these words are important for us, or poems are important for us. William says there is something more in the structure of the poem, in its arrangement of words and rhythms on the pages as a field of action. The poetic page, the poem itself, is a field of action like any other action that we may have in nature, at home, everywhere. Let us see the first poem from Williams, The Red Wheelbarrow, one of the most popular poems in American literature. Just a small poem in 8 lines, 16 words, 4 couplets, 2 lines each, 3 words, 1 word, that is how line arrangements are there. Just 2 adjectives, nothing more. Let us read the poem now. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow glazed with rain water beside the white chickens. It is almost a single sentence. There is no punctuation mark, anything like that. Even the first line begins with a lower case, so, and then at the end, of course, we have full stop. There is an image of the red wheelbarrow. That is it, nothing else. Where is it? How is it? That is it. Within this short poem, we have so much of thematic contrast between everything and nothing. If so much depends, then there is also nothing. Dependence and independence, wet and dry, smooth and rough, white and black, red and colorless tools. This red wheelbarrow is actually a tool, a one wheeled small kind of mechanism which is used in construction industry. We can also say this red wheelbarrow, wheeled barrow or wheeled tool and unwheeled tool. That kind of contrast also we can see. Then man made tool and natural rains and chickens, then quietness and noise. This is the kind of context image that the small poem evokes in us. Within this small poem, we will see this image, dominant image of this red wheelbarrow. It is a tool, construction tool, it is a moving kind of instrument which is used to carry objects from one place to another for the purpose of construction. This is a symbol of human civilization and growth. Without wheel, human civilization would not have grown to this extent, and that too in construction. Civilization is closely associated with construction of homes, construction of buildings, construction of so many other things. And then we will see that this poem is totally in contrast to the poems we have read so far. We do not have much of metaphor, simile, assonance, consonance and many other things that we will find in other poems. So, we pay attention to the tone, that is why Williams paid attention to the common speech patterns of American people. The tone is conversational, the attitude is casual and informal, the syntax is very simple, just one sentence without any complicated words, they are common words, that is why the diction is also simple. Then the register is a kind of rural environment because of the presence of chickens. Then the structure is also interesting because of 4 stanzas of 2 lines each with an alternation of 3 words and 1 word. Obviously, we do not have any rhyme in this poem, and also we do not have much repetition. No word is repeated, suggesting the uniqueness of the red wheelbarrow. Of course, we have this repetitive structure of the same in the whole poem. The rhythm is a variation of iamb and trochee. Mostly what we have in this poem is a monometer or dimeter, because single word and more than 1 word in a line, that is 4 syllables and 2 feet or 2 syllables and 1 foot. Let us read these 4 lines again. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow. The enjambment is found throughout the poem. Every line is enjambed. That is the kind of innovation that Williams brought about in American poetry. Such a short poem has given scope for lot of interpretations. Let us give our own impression. The speaker describes a red wheelbarrow in a rainwater drenched condition lying quietly. He does not reveal what exactly depends on the barrow. Readers can speculate the meaning of the poem in their own ways. The poet perhaps wants us just look at the picture closely. The observation itself is a process of discovering the object as it is in its own location. When we pay attention minutely, probably we become the object, natural or manufactured. This moving out of our own self and looking at something else and becoming one with that may be a kind of force that is acting on the field at home or anywhere else. Here is another short poem, again well known, popular throughout American culture. This is just to say. Earlier, so much depends on. Now this is just to say. 28 words, 3 stanzas, 4 lines each. We have alternation between 2 words, 3 words and 1 word, just 3 adjectives. So Williams does not pay any attention to descriptive nature of the poem, rather he gives the object directly to us, as few words as possible. Let us read the poem now. I have eaten the plums that were in the ice box and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me, they were delicious, so sweet and so cold. The situation is a home context, husband and wife. The wife is absent, the husband comes home and eats the plums from the ice box, something like a fridge or the prototype of a fridge, and he feels sorry about it, just expresses it. And also he expresses his satisfaction of having tasted the plums. Within this short poem we have so much of thematic contrast, sin and forgiveness, because the speaker has taken the plums without the permission or without the knowledge of his partner. Sin and forgiveness, crime and confession, aggression and apology, I and you, dinner and breakfast, sweet and bitter, cold and warm, delicious and unpalatable, scarcity and plenty. Probably he wrote this poem on a piece of paper that is called a sticky note, and then this note itself has become a poem. That is exactly Williams. Very ordinary things, very ordinary events, very ordinary happenings. He has made several poems out of them. Patterson is full of such many ordinary things about American people, American events. Here again let us see some poetic devices. Symbol we find in plums, maybe these plums are objects of temptation. The tone is conversational and the attitude is very casual and informal. The syntax is somewhat complex because it uses relative clauses in that which we can say it is complex, but then it is easy to follow. However, the words are very common words and the situation is domestic, that is why the words are associated with a household, that is why we say the register is domestic. There is no punctuation mark at all and only 2 words are capitalized, I and forgive, and the whole poem is presented to us in just 3 stanzas. Now let us see rhyme, rhythm and meter. We do not have much of rhyme in this poem, but the part of speech adjective alone is repeated, though the individual word is not repeated. So we have delicious, sweet and cold, these 3 words are found, that means 3 times Williams has used adjectives in this poem. Similarly, we have the repetition of adverb, and so the emphasis is on so tasty, so sweet. Then we can say the rhythm is very common iambic rhythm in this poem. Again we have only monometer and dimeter. I have eaten the plums that were in the ice box and which that is actually in the next stanza. Enjambment is present throughout the poem, that is why we say it is full of enjambment. We have 4 syllables in one line making up 2 feet, and sometimes we have 3 syllables, that means we will have more than 1 foot, but for the sake of analysis we would say it is just 1 foot. Again, this short poem has so much to convey to us, so much depends on the reader. Using Williams' poem The Red Wheelbarrow, we can say so much depends on the reader and his or her perception of the poem. To give an overall impression of this poem, let us look at these points. The speaker declares that he has eaten the plums from the ice box and expresses his satisfaction that it is tasty, though he is aware that his partner may have kept the plums for her own breakfast. The speaker's casual attitude and informal tone is the heart of the poem, which points to how people are easily tempted by something very attractive. The speaker is aware of the feeling of the absent partner, but feels helpless due to scarcity of plums or other food items due to the general crisis of the Great Depression during which the poem was written. We are human enough to pay attention to ourselves, disregarding the needs of others. Williams was a doctor who served his patients tirelessly, disregarding himself, but at home when he was hungry he had to disregard his own wife's needs. That is life. Now let us come to the last poem, Between Walls. This poem has 22 words, 5 couplets, 2 lines each, 3 words, 2 words, 1 word alternation we have. We have 3 adjectives and 3 verbs which we have underlined and highlighted. Let us read the poem now. The back wings of the hospital where nothing will grow lie cinders in which shine the broken pieces of a green bottle. Let us read it again. The back wings of the hospital where nothing will grow like cinders in which shine the broken pieces of a green bottle. Again we have a lot of thematic contrast in this short poem. Front and back, hospital and desert or forest, grow and decay, cinders and plants, nothing and everything, shine and darken, broken and whole, green, pale or white, bottle and gourd, that is something like a vegetable or fruit or tree or plant as opposed to this man-made bottle. We have primarily symbols here in this poem, hospital, cinders and bottle for human activities. The tone is conversational and the attitude is casual and informal. The syntax is of course complex because it deals with a complex situation. Then we have common words, and the register is medical because it is located in the context of a hospital. Punctuation there is none, and we have 5 couplets, 5 2 lines in this poem. We see 3 contexts in these 3 poems. Red Wheelbarrow, outside the home, this is just to say inside the home, and then now in Between Walls in a hospital. When we come to rhyme, rhythm and meter, we see that there is no rhyme scheme in this poem. The rhythm of the poem is I am, as we see in the back expression, but it varies from line to line. On the whole, we have 2 syllables and 4 syllables base lines in this poem. So we can say 1 foot and 2 feet, that is how we find in this poem. So we can say monometer or dimeter. Again the whole poem is full of enjambment. Enjambment is found throughout the poem. The back wings of the hospital where nothing, so it goes on like this. To give an overall impression of the poem, we can say the poet observes a broken bottle in pieces in the back wings of the hospital where cinders lie and where nothing will grow. While the poet draws the reader's attention to the broken pieces of the bottle, perhaps he also records the culture of throwing bottles on cinders which will break the bottle into pieces. The phrase broken pieces he is divided to actually show the bottle and perhaps words in pieces. The poet comments on the American culture of waste generation, especially in hospitals. To give a summary of our presentation on William Carlos Williams and his 3 poems, we can say we paid attention to the historical and literary context in which William Carlos Williams wrote his poem. He was a doctor, but then he was able to write poems, he was able to find time for writing poems on any piece of paper that he found, including this sticky note. His concept of a poem is a field of action. There is some action always. He was always in action, in the field, at home, in hospital, everywhere. It seems that he had delivered more than 2000 babies in his lifetime, and with this kind of experience, particularly when he dealt with patients, terminal patients, his experience would have been really fantastic and extensive, and with this he observed life very closely and he has given his observations in short poems. With his vast experience, he has observed life and presented his observations in the 3 poems we have discussed, the Red Wheelbarrow, This Is Just to Say, and Between Walls. We analyzed the poems and gave our overall impression of the poems and the poet. He is a truly great American poet in the tradition of Whitman, who went round the country to see the people. In this case, Williams lived in one particular place, Rutherford, and he worked as a doctor of people, both mental and physical. Let us see the references now. Here are some references. These short poems are interesting for stylistic linguistic analysis. So, we have many articles on these poems, on many other poems of Williams. We can see how words are put together, how words come together in a field of action to convey meanings. This is just to say thank you.